Salutations, Niaja. How are you? So, for tonight's prayers and poetry, we are going to read from a new collection of poetry. It's edited by Wade Hudson and Cheryl Willis Hudson. It features a number of different writers. Remember, we've been doing Where the Sidewalk Ends. All of those poems were by Seth Silverstein. So now we're going to look at different poets who all have different takes on reality. But the common theme through it all is we rise, we resist, we raise our voices. And the foreword is by Ashley Bryan. Okay, so do you see? Okay, so the poem I wanted to start with is actually written by, it's called Advice. I'm old school like that. And it's written by Olubemisola Rude Perkovich. Olubemisola Rude Perkovich. Okay? I know I'm old school. My parents, both immigrants, value good manners and respect for elders. So do I. I also went to many different schools throughout childhood, and being the new kid many times over meant that my best bet was to keep my mouth shut and figure things out if I wanted to get it right. I want things to be right for you. I want you to be safe. I want your way to be smooth. But I learned that more important than getting it right is understanding how many times I'll get it wrong. I know that I'll be knocked down and need to get up again, over and over. I know there is beauty and power in the learning, the making of mistakes, the taking of risks, and living my life like it's golden. I give advice knowing that there is much I need to get, to learn, to do, and do over. I give advice knowing that I love you. I give advice knowing that this is a world roiling with pain and fear and anger and hurt and love. I give advice even though I'm afraid. I give advice even though I have no idea what I'm doing. But I know that I love you. So this is a very, very interesting poem because it's more about declarative statement, meaning it's saying something. It's telling you it's not a lot of imagery that you have to figure out what's being said. It's prose in that it's just telling you these ideas. And I think what's beautiful about it is how many of those things do we talk about? Respecting your elders, that you're beautiful, that you can get along. And guess what? When you make a mistake, it doesn't mean that everything is over. If you've made a bad choice, what can you do? Change your choice and keep going. Okay? No need to beat yourself up about it. No need to keep putting yourself down because you are exquisite, because you are made in the image of the Most High God. And so if anything else fails you, at any other point you feel less than the absolute brilliant, beautiful star that you are designed to be, you know, trust and believe that not just because mommy said it, but other elders believe it. God believes it because God is love. And God is evident in every part of our life. Okay? So it's important that you know that. I can read it again. I know I'm old school. My parents, both immigrants, value good manners and respect for elders. So do I. I also went to many different schools throughout childhood, and being the new kid many times over meant that my best bet was to keep my mouth shut and figure things out if I wanted to get it right. I want things to be right for you. I want you to be safe. I want your way to be smooth. But I learned that more important than getting it right is understanding how many times I'll get it wrong. I know that I'll be knocked down and need to get up again over and over. I know there is beauty and power in the learning, the making of mistakes, the taking of risks, and the living my life like it's golden. I give advice knowing that there is much I need to get, to learn, to do, and do over. I give advice knowing that I love you. I give advice knowing that this is a world roiling with pain and fear and anger and hurt and love. I give advice even though I'm afraid. I give advice even though I have no idea what I'm doing. But I know that I love you. And I do. I love you very much. So here's some affirmations that were written. Remember, our affirmations strengthen us, remind us who we are, and tell us to be beautiful and exquisite in all that we do. Okay? Now, let's see. Your voice is precious and it matters. Know that you might have to remind me. You have to remind me of that sometimes. So let's start again. Your voice is precious and it matters. Know that you might have to remind me of that sometimes. So you know how sometimes when you have an idea and you're like, Mommy, you're not listening to me. Sometimes you just have to remind me that you need to be heard as well. If I'm not listening, if I'm not hearing you, just remind me, baby. Okay? Because I'm old school like that. Listen and listen again. Loving and celebrating yourself is not racist, and you should do it at least once a day because you are fantastic. You are beautiful. You are amazing, and I love you. Read and read widely. Ask questions and never assume you have all the answers. Take all the time and all the space you need. Read and read widely. Take the opportunity to amplify the voices of the oppressed and marginalized. So if you see someone hurting or you see someone's voice isn't being heard, you do it all the time. You are altruistic and compassionate and emphatic. You look to figure out why are you hurting and how can I help you? Okay? So that's such a major important attribute of being a leader, and you're so good at that. Um, Use your voice in the way you see fit and not in the way that others, including me, to tell you is the right way to do it. I know I can be bossy, so can daddy, but you have a voice and you have a gift that comes directly from God, and you have the ability to use and determine how you're going to express that gift. And you don't let anyone take that away from you. That's free will. But just know, mommy and daddy and the whole village that's responsible for raising you is all we're always going to have advice, and we're always going to have ideas that we share about what we think you should do. That doesn't mean that that's what you have to do, but we're just encouraging you based on our experience as to what you should do. Okay? You might have to remind me of that one too. Okay? So let me just recap. Your voice is precious and it matters. Know that you might have to remind me of that sometimes because I'm old school like that. Listen and listen again. Loving and celebrating yourself is not racist, and you should do it at least once a day. Read and read widely. Ask questions and never assume you have all the answers. Take all the time and all the space you need. Read and read widely. Take the opportunity to amplify the voices of the oppressed and marginalized. Use your voice in the way you see fit and not in the way that others, including me, tell you is the right way to do it. You might have to remind me of that one too. So we're going to speak up for others. If we see pain or we see hurt, we're going to do our best to speak up and try to assist those in need, and know that you have a divine gift that is straight from God that you can use to express your beauty, your talent, and all that God has purposed you to do. You are so amazing and so beautiful. Okay? So that was a really, really good one. Oh, there's more. Oops, sorry. I stopped it thinking that that was it. But let me look at more. Know that speaking truth to power and love is never worthless, even if others don't seem to hear you. Know that sometimes silence speaks like a piercing shout. So when you don't answer, you do answer. Okay? But sometimes it's best if you have nothing good to say, not to say anything at all. Love and cherish and care for yourself. Love and cherish and care for someone else. Ask questions and never assume you have all the answers. Listen and listen again. Create, make art, tell your story. Read and read widely. Know that no one else can define you. That means you have the right to be self-determined. It's called Kuji Chagalia. Okay? So self-determination, that means I decide who I am. I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. Okay? Um, know that no one else can define you. You are not responsible for others' ignorance or hate. So even sometimes when I make mistakes or someone else makes mistakes and you're like, what's wrong with me? I must be a stupid child. No, no, no. We block that out of our head, because the mistakes that I make, your dad makes, or anyone else makes that may hurt you, that's not your fault. Okay? And it's not for you to absorb. God didn't intend it that way. All right? So you are beautiful and exquisite. And when you realize that there's something you can do differently, when you realize that you make a mistake, you acknowledge it, You seek forgiveness, you apologize, and you press forward because that's all you can do. Okay? So you're not defined by your mistakes. You will make mistakes, but guess what? You have the ability to press forward. Okay? You can always be respectful without worrying about being nice. You have every right to smile and enjoy who you are, which you don't have no problem doing. You don't have to smile. You don't have no problem doing that either. Listen and listen again. Read and read widely. Know that your life is a triumph. You are luminous. You are a luminous thread in a gorgeously woven tapestry of love, struggle, and vibrant story. God in heaven knows that. God and your dad and I are just a needle and thread, but baby, you are the tapestry, and God has given you such a beautiful testimony of overcoming and being persistent and being resilient. I don't even know. God has something so magnificent for you to do. Know that there is music, drums, and hymns, blues and beats, rock and on in your blood. Yes. Ask questions and never assume you have all the answers. Who you are at the very core of your soul is beautiful. Your voice is precious and it matters. Tell your story and remember that I love you. I love you, Diaja. So, usually I do a couple of poems, but that was quite a lot to take in. And the video is already at 11 minutes, but I do want you to see a picture of the author who wrote that book. And guess who else has something in here? Javaka Steptoe. Do you remember we read Radiant Child and we learned about Basquiat? Yeah. So that is, look at her. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. See? Look. Okay. This is her. This is the young lady who wrote that. You see, she has natural hair, she wears glasses, and she has a beautiful smile just like you. Maybe one day you'll write poetry as well. So let's look at that. She is, okay, Olubemisola Rude Perkovic is the author of 8th grade Super Zero, which was named ILA Notable Book for a Global Society and an NCSS CBC Notable Social Studies Trade Book for Young People. She is the co-author of the middle grade novels Two Naomis, which was nominated for an NAACP Image Award, and Naomi's 2. Olubemisola has contributed to several anthologies, including Open Mic, Riffs on Life Between Cultures and 10 Voices, Imagine It Better, Visions of What School Might Be, and The Journey is Everything, teaching essays that students want to write for people who want to read them. She is a member of the Brown Bookshelf and We Need Diverse Books. Olubemisola holds an MA in education and writes frequently on education and parenting topics. She lives with her family in New York City, where she writes, makes things, and needs to get more sleep. So, this is the author, and this is what's called a biography. This is what's called a biography. Okay? And so, this is who she is. All right? So, I'm glad that I had an opportunity to share that poem with you. Now, let's say our prayers. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I love you, Nyasha. Have a beautiful evening, sweet dreams, and I'm certain you had a blessed day.